thing, because of course it's important to get a let's say more modeling point of view. So the ambition was to try to group three communities together. The remote sensing, that was quite well represented here. The vegetation modeling, that was also, I think, quite represented. Maybe it could be extended a little bit. And the agriculture monitoring, that was probably not so well represented. And that's true that the modeling part of the agriculture was not really there, and that's missing probably. So we have to work a little bit on that, because it was quite clear from what we have seen today that there is a gap in the way remote sensing observations are used by the vegetation modeling community and the way it's used currently by the agricultural monitoring. Although there is quite a lot of models available, crop growth model available, that are not yet really used, at least operationally, in combination with remote sensing. Okay, so that answers maybe the first comment. So was the balance between modeling and remote sensing achieved? From my point of view, so let's say more remote sensing, I think it was quite nice to get all the information from the modeling community and the advances and their requirements in terms of observations, and specifically looking at the uncertainties, because I think maybe that's something we could think differently regarding the let's say the objective of the for example CEO's LPV, who has got a validation exercise to be completed, but actually we should maybe rephrase validation by evaluation of the uncertainties attached to the products, because it's not because validation is okay. It's a comparison with let's say it's more a yes and no exercise. Is it valid or not? But of course it's not fully valid and it's not fully crap. It's in between, and this in between situation is the uncertainties that should be quantified. So I spoke already about the balance between the global modeling and agriculture. So yes, we need to probably make a lot of progress in the modeling, in the combination of modeling for agriculture and the use of remote sensing. And this is coming to the resolution problem or sampling problem, because in the mostly what we saw in the vegetation modeling and the use of remote sensing is some kind of wall-to-wall assessment at the global scale, mostly with kilometric or even larger or coarser resolution, which is very valid, but of course there's also quite a lot of information at the local scale, but not everywhere, on a subset of places or sites, and that can be sampled by the decametric observations that are already there, but maybe not at the right temporal frequency. So maybe there's something to think about, let's say a full coverage, comprehensive coverage of the globe in terms of space, probably time, and a sampling of a number of sites where we can get a very detailed description at the ecosystem level of, let's say, maybe species composition and those kind of things, which is quite difficult to get from the kilometric scale. And this is putting in question of the associated ground observations, obviously. So that we are presented here, but maybe there was not, from my perspective, there was not too much presentation showing cases, actual cases where ground observations, remote sensing observations, and models were combined together. So that's probably something that I'm sure it's done, but it was not so much represented here. Okay, so that was some comments. Okay, so regarding the meeting, so actually we were, I think, more successful in terms of number of participants than expected, which was good in a way, but okay, from the logistical point of view, sometimes it was a bit more difficult, but okay, we do our best. So I spoke about the sex ratio and the origin, but not too much about the edges. And what was good, but because I didn't get the information actually, but I just looked at the room, and I think that was a quite good distribution, uniform distribution, I would say, of the edges. So I think that's good because that's a way that the information can go from generation to generation, I would say. So I think that's very good, and that keeps it's a lot of innovative things going from the younger, I guess. Okay, so then there is a question about the format. So of course the format is okay. We can make let's say comments on the way it was going for this meeting, and of course there was the question about will there be any continuation? So I'm not really answers to that, but any on that. Okay, there is a question about the duration. Was it too long or too short? I'm not sure, but maybe too long. Is the way the posters were organized in terms of 3 sessions, where maybe that was not enough. Even that was that was 3 days during which people could discuss in front of the posters. But there were quite a lot of posters. I think potentially there were 160, but actually some were missing. But there was quite a lot of posters and very interesting information. And that was also the difficulty of this conference, that because of the let's say the success that we get in terms of participants, to select between the oral presentation and the poster session, and sometimes it was okay, it was a bit sad. And I thank very much the scientific committee who made a really good job in trying to rank the propositions, and from which we can pick up the one that were in oral, presented as oral, but okay, there was probably many poster presentation that should have gone to oral session to get a wider audience. So for the oral session, okay, the schedule was a schedule okay. So we try to keep the sessions not too long, with 20 minutes, 30 minutes for the keynote speakers. The way they were organized, so in 7 sessions. So was it covering the questions we want to answer? Had we to add other sessions or to combine sessions? So okay, that's questions. And the question about the follow-up. So okay, so maybe I let the room commenting on that, and maybe Christian to add some elements.
Thank you, Fred. This was actually the 3rd conference that was supported by Terabytes. When we came up 4 years ago, or 5 years actually now, for trying to merge communities between observation modelers and biologists and ecologists. That was what we thought was important to get forward in being able to use our models, but also to use our data. And the first conference in this respect was very much biased still towards carbon cycle modeling and so on. The main reason is probably because I'm more from the carbon cycle community. The second conference that we had in Frascati that Michael was organizing, that was already very much towards satellite observations appearing there. And now the third conference here is very much in the direction that was originally thought about, because it has a very strong aspect really on the land and the terrestrial observation besides the modeling parts. So I'm very happy that that Fred proposed to merge the already existing community on vegetation observation that he is very much in. And I think from my perspective it got very, very clear that this is a road that we should continue. Especially this conference showed very, very convincingly, in my opinion, that there is a large potential in merging those communities here. Concerning those questions here that Fred put up, I personally like the format that has already proven to be very successful in the former conferences, that we had these large poster sessions and had at the same time not too short presentations, and also that we have only one plenary. Only one plenary with only oral sessions and not parallel oral sessions here. So I personally was very, very happy with the format that we had here.
Yes, Chris?
Yeah, just a quick comment. And I'm sorry that I'm doing this now rather than earlier. So I think that internationally, we've really got to keep this process going. It's very important, and I really appreciate the organisers for putting this together. I think the sort of time sequence is right. Every 4 years is just about right in terms of being able to sort of continue the process. But what's happened in the interim, and I should let Shanlin talk about this, is he's developed a parallel kind of meeting in Asia, which runs in, I don't know, Fred, you're going to put that there? Good, thank you. Chengdu meeting, so, yeah, all right. All right, thanks, sorry. No, that's, sorry.
Okay, any comments on the format and the, yes, let's say on the conference or possible suite of conference?
Well, just a suggestion. A lot of the oral presentations were presentations of the speakers' research. So maybe next time some of the oral presentations could be more synthesis, state-of-the-art, open research issues, and that way you would cover much more.
That was the attempt with the keynotes.
I presented my own research.
Okay, so not too much comments. Good. Everyone pleased. Okay, so let's go to some additional information. So first, or maybe we can go to the thing. So for the following of this conference, because apparently it has been well received and it corresponds to a need. So there are different places where part of what was done here could be presented or is actually presented. So there's a Chengdu meeting that will occur sometime in fall 2016, organized by Chengdu. Pretty soon there will be the Valencia meeting organized by José Sobrino. So it was more remote sensing because it's called recent advancements in quantitative remote sensing. So of course there's a little, I would say very some modeling in it, but it's more remote sensing oriented. And then, this is also mostly remote sensing oriented, but probably there is a little modeling up to now, but that's the beginning of fluorescence. So there's a fluorescent meeting organized in Paris, and I think Yves has got maybe some information about it. It could be of interest.
Some information. On the desktop.
It's on the desktop.
Yeah, I think on the desktop. You can use this.
Okay.
This one. Just some information.
So a lot of information, as you can see.
Okay, alright. So this meeting will hold in April in Paris, 22-24. And if you want to, it will cover different aspects of remote sensing of fluorescence, for instrumentation, modelization, also ground measurement, measurement at different scale from measurement, airborne measurement, of course, space measurement in the context of the upcoming selection of the FLEX mission by ESA at the end of 2015. If you want to submit an abstract, it's not too late, because you have 2 days and a half. We can include. If you want to have more information, you can go to the site or flash this code. Or if you this flashcard is not is too not the address. Thank you.
Okay, so I think there's not too much comments. So I don't know what we will do for the future, but we'll think about it and maybe we come with a solution and discuss with some other players here. So first, we want to thank you all for your participation. I think the good mood that I got from this meeting. There was not too much fight, maybe not enough. Yeah, thank you for your participation, and particularly for those who are coming from far away. So many thanks, of course, to the sponsoring agencies, so Terabytes. The cost project funded by the European Commission, INRA, who of course participated in Nature and also SPAC funding, the Imagines project, it's a European project, CNES, the French Space Agency, the European Space Agency, Copernicus, and the TEIA, so it's related to CNES, which is the French, let's say, land data center. That will, I think that's quite important information, that will try to process Sentinel-2 data, at least over a restricted amount of space. So France and, let's say, I think from what I heard, it's 10 times the domain of France. But for sure there will be France, but the 9 other areas are still to be decided. So to transform the level 1C, so let's say quite low product provided by the European Space Agency, to get higher level products, like top of canopy reflectance and other products, graphical product from the Earth. And then I want also to thank the Région PACA for the Provence-Côte d'Azur region, partly, hopefully. We just submitted the proposal 2 days ago, but okay, we think it will be okay. So we will hopefully fund also the conference. So we thank very much the scientific committee, especially because many of those are coming from quite a long way, from Avignon, from Australia, from USA, from China, from Korea. So that's okay. We thank them very much for the active role in shaping up the conference and the program. We thank very much also the chairman, because I think the time was not too bad. I think we got some delays, of course, but okay, I think that was quite good. And also I want really to thank Marie, because without Marie, I think we should have run in a lot of trouble. It's me. Christine, Chantal, and Salima for their help in the organization of the conference. So, thanks to all of them.
And you didn't do it yourself. You didn't forget yourself. So, thanks, Fred, for doing this all.
So that's incredible. We are a bit too early, but that's no problem. So I think we can move slowly to the restaurants. Hopefully it will not